see it now. Just close your chat for me. Okay, you looking good now. We're live? We are live. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Can you hear it?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the North Carolina State Board of Education Planning and Work Session for May 2nd and 3rd, 2023. I'm Eric Davis, Chair of the Board, and I call this meeting to order. Delighted to welcome all board members and advisors, staff, on-site visitors, listeners, and Twitter followers. You can follow the North Carolina State Board of Education on Twitter at EDStateBoard_NC. And I'll remind our on-site visitors and online listeners, you can follow the meeting online and see our materials by going to SBE meetings at www.ncpublicschools.org. In January 2019, the State Board of Education began a journey investigating a process for developing strategic priorities that would guide our work over the next few years. In November of 2022, at the biannual planning and work session at the University of North Carolina Pembroke's Thomas Hub Center, the State Board members, advisors, and DPI staff worked collaboratively to provide recommended revisions regarding some of the objectives and the components of the plan. Then a work group of DPI staff went through those recommendations and returned to the State Board the changes and recommendations on changes in wording, additions to components, and considerations for current data sources being included to inform the State Board's goals. And then finally, on March 2nd, 2023, the Board approved these changes. And during this two-day planning and work session, we will dig deeper into several of those goals and components and objectives to determine how the Board can leverage advocacy, policies, rules, and possible legislation to support the State Board's goals. We're pleased to have these in-person discussions, especially as we move away from the challenging COVID years. I now turn to our State Superintendent for her welcome. Superintendent Truitt.
Thank you so much, Chair Davis. It's wonderful to be with everyone today on this beautiful day on this beautiful campus. And we're so grateful for UNC Charlotte for hosting us today. And I know we're looking forward to Chancellor Gaber saying a few words to us in a moment. But it's particularly, personally, I feel fortunate to be on the campus of UNC Charlotte because of their outstanding commitment to really integrating the science of reading into their program and practice. They've been incredibly active and engaged in their work to support statewide alignment with the science of reading. From day one, they have sought to move in the direction of what the data is showing us, which is that the science of reading is a proven literacy approach that works for students. UNC Charlotte has embraced the science of reading in very tangible ways involving the community, and bringing together partners to ensure that there is an opportunity to learn, grow, and dig deeper. One specific way that they did this was through holding their initial literacy summit in May of last year, and they invited the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction to present to participants regarding the state's work and future efforts. In fact, Cato College of Education just finished hosting their second Charlotte Literacy Summit on April 22nd, just a few weeks ago. This was again an opportunity that they pursued to bring together teachers, administrators, graduate and undergraduate students alike to discuss effective literacy practices like the science of reading. This time together also allowed for participants to build and foster conversation in groups, specifically catering to pre-service teachers, teacher educators, and literacy innovation leaders in regional literacy groups. Not only has UNC Charlotte been engaged in the dissemination of this work, but they've also engaged in the research and data supporting this work. UNC Charlotte is one of 20 academic research teams working to understand the effectiveness of existing state and local programs and policies that were supported through ESSER dollars. As an NC Collaboratory grant partner alongside our agency's Office of Learning Early Learning, they are seeking to understand the impact of LETRS training on teachers and administrator knowledge. So I just wanted to take this minute to thank UNCC and Dean Butler and Chancellor Gaber for the lengths they have gone to jumpstart conversations around practice and research. They've been committed to helping educators address today's literacy challenges by building intentional opportunities for connection, collaboration, and discussion. They've been fantastic partners in sharing best practices and preparing our future educators. And of course, through all of this, we know that the real winners will be our students. So thank you to UNC Charlotte and the Cato College of Education for your partnership, your dedication to improving literacy outcomes through the science of reading, and a special thank you to Dean Malcolm Butler and Chancellor Gaber for being such gracious hosts and for such steadfast champions of the science of reading.
Thank you, Superintendent Tripp. I'd like to add my personal thanks to the Charlotte 49er team for hosting us here. Affiliation with this institution goes way back, longer than I'd like to acknowledge. I actually married a 49er. And so second only to my own alma mater, this is a special place, and it's a special place for this board because of the fantastic partnership that our superintendent just highlighted with the Cato School of Education. So we're honored and very appreciative to the UNC Charlotte for hosting our planning and work session, and we're thrilled to have with us today Chancellor Dr. Sharon Gaber, the 5th Chancellor of this fine university, and we're delighted to hear your comments. Chancellor.
It wasn't on. Very good. You know, it's interesting because I do my student government meets in this room, and I come and meet with them, but they don't usually have a microphone. So there you go. So I apologize to everybody. Before we have bachelor's, master's, and 24 PhD programs. In the height of COVID, we opened a school of professional studies, and that is geared toward helping working adults be able to complete degrees. It's a largely set of online programs. And in, not this weekend, but the following weekend, we have our commencement. I refer to that as my Super Bowl because I get excited, and that's what we're here for. We will have nearly 6,000 graduates. We are excited about that. And we continue to grow external research funding. We have grown by 84% in the last decade. And one of the leaders in research funding is, in fact, our Cato College of Education. They have a $20 million U.S. Department of Education grant for increasing graduation rates for students with disabilities. So we appreciate their leadership in all that they're doing. Our focus has been and continues to be on meeting the talent needs of North Carolina and this region. We have the first school of data science in the state. We are the #1 producer of computer science graduates in North Carolina. And through investments by the North Carolina General Assembly, we are growing engineering, data, and computer science, and we have agreed to do that by 2,000 students over the next 5 years. You are here today to talk about education, teacher prep, and I am very sorry that our Dean of the College of Education is not able to be here. He was unfortunately called out of town, had a family crisis, but we're thrilled that we have our Senior Associate Dean, Teresa Petty, here. She has been with the college for 18 years, has worked closely with prior dean, she's been interim dean, she's worked closely with this dean, and certainly has helped in a leadership role in all that we're doing. You hopefully also know that we are the second largest producer of teachers in North Carolina. So we're excited about that. Superintendent Truitt mentioned some of the work that we're doing, but I'll also say from the UNC system, the UNC system has placed literacy and teacher prep in the science of reading as a high priority and commissioned an external review to say, what's happening in the universities? Are we teaching this appropriately? So of 15 colleges of education across the system, UNC Charlotte was the only university, the Cato College of Education, to receive a rating of strong in the science of reading. We've been very proud of that fact. And in fact, our faculty, thank you. And in fact, our faculty then got on a webinar to help the other colleges to understand what is it we're doing to help our teacher candidates and make sure that we're educating our students appropriately. I'd also point out that our Masters in Education program was named in the top 10% by U.S. News and World Report. We're excited about that. And I will share, I can't share details right now. We will have an announcement coming out next week, but a foundation has determined that they want to give us a very sizable gift to continue our work in literacy. And we're very excited about that. You'll see the announcement next week, but that will continue to transform early childhood literacy. So we appreciate all that you're doing for our future. We appreciate the great work. Hope that our campus is a great setting for your work session. Thank you all very much, and go Niners.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. You have a terrific team, and we'd specifically like to thank the following members of your team. Of course, Dean Butler, as mentioned before, Dean of the College of Education, Ms. Judy Pugh of the Cato College of Education, Mr. Michael Lang with the Conference and Event Services, Patrick Lucet with the External Relations and Partnerships, Ms. Gina Rizzo with Dining Services, and Mr. Stephen Snipes with Technology Services. If you'd all join me in thanking these great partners. So we'll now move to the portion of our meeting. It's customary when we go on the road and visit a part of our state that we hear greetings from representatives of this fine region that we happen to be sitting in today. And it's also customary that a board member kicks off those introductions. This region requires 2 board members to do that job. So I'm going to call on my colleague, Dr. James Ford, to join me in this welcome. And I remember our experience in our last planning and work session where our colleague, Dr. Oxendine, had this opportunity. And she took us on a walk or a journey through the Sandhills region. And not that we could ever reproduce what Dr. Oxendine did, but we're going to try to take the same journey through the southwest region. And Maria, is it possible to put the state board region map up? Okay. There you go. So we are the brown colored region, just in case you can't read the type. But we're going to start our journey in a county that the name of which was the subject of a fierce political debate at the time. Supporters of Andrew Jackson and Henry Clay could not agree on which man's name to put on this particular county. So in a moment of compromise, they agreed on the name Union. We have much to learn from our history. And I'll turn to Dr. Ford to kick us off on the trip, starting with Union.
Absolutely. Again, I'm Dr. James E. Ford, a resident of Charlotte and also a resident of University City, in which we sit right now. I'd also like to say that I'm proud to be a university graduate amongst other schools, which is listed in Union County. And we're about to to acknowledge the individuals who's over the task of learning, that is Superintendent Drew from Union County, as well as Board Chair Kathy Hunter. Union County is known for many things, and we can start in the university, but I wanted to mention that Union County public schools are one of the highest performing large districts in North Carolina. One of the things that has been noteworthy about the district is the well-founded partnership between the district and North University, which pays low income, high potential eighth grade students with mentors and college prep curriculum during all 4 years of high school. Next 510 scholars, all first generation college students will attend regularly on full scholarship as a result of this program. So they're allowed to be acknowledged and to be rewarded for that task.
So next, we'll go a little further east, right up to the Petey River in Anson County. Dr. Ford.
And I know about Anson, I had to say that Anson was my first trip outside of Mecklenburg County. I realized that Charlotte was not North Carolina. I had myself in Wardsboro, and I had a wonderful time. Anson, the superintendent is Howard McLean, and the chair is George Truman. Other educational accomplishments that I've in Anson County is the center of STEM camps for K through 5 students throughout town. These camps, students will explore technology, marine biology, and the arts. The central office and elementary leaders have engaged in powerful for training programs with regional DPI staff, and we're continuing to advance the mission of literacy that we just heard I was spoken to a moment ago.
Thank you, Dr. Ford. We'll now travel up the banks of the PD until it turns into the Yadkin, and we'll stop in Stanly County.
So, Stanley, I wanted to note here, the Charlotte Community is not out of time. She graduated from UC Charlotte, doctorate of curriculum instruction, this 2022. Malcolm speaks to the gold rush, and it's important to note that Stanley County is the road to gold. And it's a regular history for those who know. That is what inspired the gold rush region, and so that's where the funding of this speaker comes from. Stanley County leads the region in the percent of students who at least one course in high school. We cover 56%. The superintendent is Jim Dix, and the chair is Glenn Gibson. The school district also holds Super Gauge Academy in July, which is designed to help the July 6th and 7th grade students to get to know their school through teamwork activities and field trips. And so we want to take our partners and friends in Stanly County as well.
Thank you, Dr. Ford. Another little bit of history is that the gold rush of Stanly County led the Federal Reserve to put a branch of the U.S. Mint in this region, which was one of the key stepping stones to our region becoming a financial powerhouse in the time that we're living. Plus, Stanly County happens to be the home of Ed Crutchfield, former chairman and CEO of First Union Bank, one of the architects of that climb in this region in the banking world. So next we're going to go over to Cabarrus County and the Kannapolis City Schools. Cabarrus County is famous for many things. The speedways there, the Eight Brothers come from Cabarrus County, but they're also well known for their partnership with Rowan County and the Rowan Cabarrus Community College, an outstanding community college in this area that supports our community in so many ways. The Cabarrus County school system is led by Superintendent John Kopika. will be joining us in this meeting, and the board chair is Dennis Adcock. This spring, the superintendent has initiated a series of community engagement meetings to share information about the district strategic plan and engage parents and other partners in that process. The county has also initiated a district-wide focus on student wellness, which has resulted in a significant drops in disciplinary referrals. And then finally, W.R. Odell Elementary has exceeded growth by more than 11% in 21-22 as a top elementary school in our state. So much to be proud of in Cabarrus County. And within that county is also the Kannapolis City Schools. Of course, Kannapolis is known for many things, not the least of which was the huge Cannon Mills plant there in Kannapolis, which not only raised many of us from poverty into the middle class, but also gave us comfortable sheets to sleep on at night. Kannapolis is also famous for being the home of the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. That's right. Kannapolis City Superintendent Kevin Gray and Board Chair Todd Adams are leading the Kannapolis City Schools in ways, including a partnership with Hillbush Ford to support a Teacher of the Month program, recognizing the excellent work that teachers are doing in the Kannapolis City Schools. And the district is also proud to connect and support with the Kannapolis community, providing adult ESL classes. It's one of the many ways that Kannapolis City is making this a better place to live.
To the Cabarrus County, a bit of Cabarrus history. Cabarrus County is also home to one of the 12 original historically black colleges and universities, now 10 fully accredited, and that is Nova Scotia College. Familiar with that is the college that educated William Clyde Bethune. The college is recently still pursuing its accreditation, came back upgrading again, but it's located in the Welcome community of Concord. And I'd be listed also to mention one of my favorite spots in Cabarrus County, which is Concord Mills.
Very good. Next stop on our tour of the Southwest District is Rowan County, the Rowan Salisbury Schools. Salisbury and Rowan County are famous for many things, cheer wine, food line, and what you may not know, but it was the center of the Southern Railroad system for many years. My grandfather ran a train out of Salisbury up into Virginia, and the former Southern Railroad yard is now the North Carolina Transportation Museum. It's definitely worth a stop the next time you're in Rowan County. The Rowan Salisbury Schools are led by Superintendent Kelly Withers and Board Chair Dean Hunter, and they are our state's only renewed school system. They're doing great work in the innovation and design of the future of our school districts in redesigning education to create authentic and personalized learning experiences for all students. The Rowan Salisbury Schools has an outstanding partnership with Habitat for Humanity, where CTE students work with community members to build habitat houses. So we're grateful for the great work going on in the Rowan Salisbury Schools.
Salisbury is also the home of Livingstone College, one of the North Carolina's historically black colleges and universities, headed by President Anthony Davis. It is one of the first private black liberal arts colleges located right there in Salisbury. From 22 baccalaureate degrees, it was initially founded in Concord, North Carolina, but it moved to Salisbury. Rowan Salisbury is also the home of Elizabeth Duncan Coates, who was a national education and civil rights and women's movement hero, the first African-American president of the National Education Association.
Next stop on the tour, we'll head west and go to our northernmost county, which is Iredell, with the Iredell, Statesville, and Millersville City Schools. Now, Iredell was a judge back at the time our country was formed, and James Iredell happened to be appointed to the first Supreme Court in our nation's history. At one time, Iredell in the Statesville region was known as the liquor capital of North Carolina. Moonshine and bootlegging might come to mind there, and the connection to NASCAR is still strong. Iredell County is also as having the largest number of cattle of any county in the state of North Carolina. Dairy farming and other cattle activities are still very prominent in that county. The Iredell Statesville schools are led by Superintendent Jeff James and Board Chair Bill Howell. Earlier this year, they received a $17 million grant from the U.S. Department of Education to increase school mental health services offered to students. The grant will provide 22 clinically licensed mental health therapists, and Project Resolve will allow the district to recruit and retain personnel needed to address the mental health needs of the district's students. Terrific work going on there. And similarly, in the southern part of the county is the Mooresville City Schools. You may know Mooresville by its moniker, the Race City USA, due to the large number of NASCAR teams based in that community. The superintendent is Jason Gardner, the board chair Gregory Whitfield. Mooresville has been a leader in implementation of overall structured literacy approach with a commitment that all K-5 teachers will learn and use science of reading aligned practices, much to the pleasure of our superintendent. The district is reviewing current literacy programs and developing a plan for adopting and aligning programs over the next 2 years. So great work in Mooresville. Next stop on our tour, we're going to come south and take a hard right at the Cowens Ford, where the Catawba River, and cross the Catawba River at the boundary of Mecklenburg and Lincoln County. Cowens Ford happens to be the site of the Revolutionary Battle of Cowens Ford, where General William Davidson and a group of ragtag North Carolina militia punched the Tories in the nose and provided one of many setbacks to Lord Cornwallis on his way to Guilford Courthouse. Lincoln County at one time was known for the tremendous amount of iron ore that it extracted. Forages and furnaces still dot the landscape across Lincoln County. And it also is the home to the first textile mill in our state, the Shinnick-Warlick cotton mill. It's also the site of the Battle of Ramsour's Mill, which occurred right before Cowens Ford, another punch in Cornwallis's nose, which later led him to refer to this area as a hornet's nest of rebellion, a moniker that we're proud of to this day. The Lincoln County schools are led by Superintendent Aaron Allen, who I believe will be joining us later in this meeting, Board Chair Heather Ryan. 9 Lincoln County students earned academic growth recognition for performance in 21-22 school year, and just last week, 5 Lincoln County principals completed the Distinguished Leadership and Practice program provided by the North Carolina Principals and Assistant Principals Association. And then finally, the East Lincoln High School teacher, Rachel Fry, was named the Region 6 Bose Welcome Fund Teacher of the Year, which just goes to show the quality of teachers and graduates coming out of East Lincoln High School is much better than it was in 1979 when I graduated. We now head further west on Highway 27, turn left on 18 and head into Cleveland County and turn to Dr. Ford.
So I've been educated in Cleveland County, and I had the pleasure of teaching amongst teachers who came from Shelby, and proud of it. But I've also been told that there are athletic figures who came out of that county. The guy by the name of Skywalker Thompson or something like that. Is that something like it? That's about clearly. The superintendent of this county is Stephen Fisher, board chair Robert Quinn. One bragging rights that Cleveland County has is that a fourth grade student, Seth Tate, appeared on his website. He's at West Elementary School, and since goals to become the NBA referee. It sounds like he comes from big pedigree of NBA players that come out of Cleveland County, but that was his identified career. So it's also Cleveland County is known for its PALS program. PALS is an acronym for Partners for Literary Success, and it's sponsored by Cleveland County Schools Education Foundation for the purposes of building community support and understanding around literacy. PALS recently funded 11 grants to Cleveland County educators to support literacy initiatives in that county. So lots of really good work.
2 other people well known coming from Cleveland County, of course, is our speaker, Tim Morris from Cleveland County, and the award-winning musician Earl Scruggs, who made famous the clawhammer banjo-playing style of bluegrass music. Next up, Gaston County.
So as my students used to affectionately call it, the gas house, don't know what that means, but I guess it's a plural of words. I certainly know there are a lot of athletic figures as well. First of all, it's known for Crowder's Mountain, which you know how you go before you should, but please be advised, it's not a simple hike at all. I think I'm still from 2 weeks ago. Additionally, basketball player by the name of James Riley, UNC Chapel Hill, that is from Gaston County as well. But Gaston County is the home of Superintendent Jeff Booker, who was selected by his peers in 2022 as the Southwest Region Superintendent of the Year. Unfortunately, Dr. Booker is leaving Gaston County on June 1st, but we didn't know that acknowledgement. The board chair is Jeff Ramsey. Gaston County's virtual career fair gives students the opportunity to virtually learn about job opportunities in over 30 Gaston County businesses and submit information to those businesses the students are interested in. One of Gaston County's 22 choice schools is the Gaston Virtual Academy, which serves students in K-12, providing them the option of remote learning supported by high-quality educators.
Thank you, Dr. Ford. I failed to mention one other attribute about Lincoln County. You can tell I'm kind of affiliated with that crowd, is the fine Lincoln Charter School that one of our fine charter schools that happens to be in Lincoln County. And on that note, we'll move into the last county, which is Mecklenburg, also home to two really outstanding charter schools, Sugar Creek Charter and Movement Charter. They all three do an outstanding job of educating our students. Charlotte Mecklenburg schools are led by Interim Superintendent Crystal Hill and Board Chair Elise Dashew, who's with us and will be speaking with us in just a few moments. But before we get to the school system, I believe we have some institutions of higher education here. Dr. Ford?
Absolutely. Of course, you're in one, the premier research institution in Charlotte, which is UNC Charlotte, graduate gold medals, but also Charlotte's only historically black college and university, which is Johnson C. Smith, which used to be called Biddle Institute. It's headed by President Clem Armbruster, outgoing President Armbruster. JCSU is a private historical black liberal arts college in Charlotte, and it offers 22 academic degrees in one master's program. JCSU employs 99 instruction, academic affairs, and other educational services and staffing this campus. On the same campus, there are two types of people, golden bulls and those who wish that they were golden bulls. They're located in the Five area, also known as Bentonville, on the west end of Charlotte. If you don't have the opportunity to venture over there, I recommend that you do off Beatties Ford Road.
Yes, this county is also home to another one of those terrific community colleges. This one's Citron Piedmont Community College. And if we failed to mention the great community colleges in Gaston and Cleveland and every county in this region, just know we appreciate you all. This also happens to be the home of a little small Presbyterian college in the northern part of Mecklenburg County, who's named after General Davidson. Remember the punch in the nose at Gallons Ford? Has two famous graduates. One is the most outstanding basketball player in the NBA today, Steph Curry. Check him out, 50 points in Game 7 on Sunday, in case you missed it. And in my opinion, the most outstanding graduate of Davidson, my good friend, Alan Dunn. Hardly. So back to the school system, 12 of CMS's magnet schools. In fact, this district has a tremendous offering of schools of choice in magnets in a number of different ways, but it's an outstanding part of the program they offer. 12 of those magnet schools received 2023 National Merit Awards, recognizing them as top magnet schools in our nation. These schools have shown outstanding dedication to academic standards, curriculum innovation, and diversity efforts. And on May 3rd, the CMS schools will have their inaugural GEM Awards to celebrate the accomplishments of their teachers and teacher assistants of the year. Dr. Ford?
I'd like to take a moment to say I'm a proud former CMS educator and a proud CMS parent. All four of my children are CMS students, two that go to Highland Montessori, one that that goes to Governor's Village STEM and one who goes to Philip O. Berry Academy. And I'd be remiss if we didn't remark that on this Thursday, we will be recognizing the first Black public high school in Charlotte-Mecklenburg School's Second Ward High School as they celebrate 100 years since its opening in 1923.
So we join us all in thanking the Southwest region for hosting us this event. Now, I'm sure you'd rather hear from someone other than Dr. Freed and myself, so we're delighted to welcome to the podium from the Cato College of Education, Dr. Teresa Petty, Sr., the Associate Dean of this fine College of Education. Dr. Petty.
Chairman Davis, Superintendent Truitt, and members of the board. I'm so pleased to join today with guidance from the Cato College of Education. I'm Teresa Petty, as he just mentioned, Senior Associate Dean of the college. My role in the college is focused on undergraduate education and all things related to teacher preparation. I've been here in Charlotte since 2005, and I've been fortunate to see the growth of the university and the amazing growth of the college. Chancellor Gary mentioned the number 2 producer of teachers in North Carolina. Over 7,500 of our alumni are employed in North Carolina public schools, 50% of those in rural counties. Our college is a proud home to 5 bachelor's degrees, 12 master's programs, 5 doctorate programs, and 14 graduate certificates. We graduate approximately 7 students annually. We're proud to be one of the 8 institutions to offer teaching fellows, and we're proud to be the largest region for the North Carolina Teacher Support Program. I'm very excited to be with you tomorrow to share about our teacher preparation programs. I'll talk to you a little bit about how we're working to recruit teacher candidates, how we're partnering with school districts, how we overhaul our teacher preparation programs to meet the needs of K-12 learners, and how we're constantly focusing on improving teachers. We need to be able to the experience and skill set that they need. As you can see, we work with the Catholic College of Education, and we're talking with you tomorrow. Good afternoon, and welcome to Charlotte.
Dr. Petty, please pass on to your team our thanks for every one of those teachers you send us. We'll take them all and more. And you have our commitment to send you well-prepared, ready-to-learn high school graduates to become our future teachers in your college. Thank you so much. Next up, I'm delighted to introduce to you my good friend, Ms. Elise Dashew, who currently serves as chair and at-large representative of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education. Ms. Dashew.
Well, hello, Chair, Superintendent, DPI staff. It is truly an honor to welcome you to Charlotte and to Mecklenburg County and to bring greetings from my colleagues on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education. We are grateful for your service and your partnership on behalf of the students of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, 142,000 strong, and students of North Carolina, which is more like, I think, 1.4 million last count. It's no secret that school boards around the country and in North Carolina and your board as well are serving in a time of real division. And what I know is that everyone in this room shares a common concern and a deep commitment to improving student outcomes. And that is something that binds my board together as well. And this shared commitment gives me real hope and strength that we're going to be okay heading into the future. So I thank you for your commitment to that. And I thank our partners at UNC Charlotte for your shared commitment. And let us all keep that as our North Star. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, on behalf of the local superintendents of this Southwest District, I'm delighted to call on Dr. Drew Houlihan, Superintendent of Union County Public Schools. Dr. Houlihan.
Thank you. Now, I guess it's good afternoon. Board members and Superintendent Truitt, I do want to thank you all for the opportunity to be with you today on behalf of Region 6. I especially want to thank Dr. Petrie Martin and Chair Davis for the invitation to bring you greetings. So on behalf of the superintendents of Region 6 and the school systems in the Southwest Educational Alliance, welcome. Welcome to Charlotte and welcome to UNCC and to our region. I am the chair of Region 6 and I have the opportunity to work alongside my colleagues as superintendents on a much deeper level. And I can assure you that the level of commitment of these school systems in this region and the leadership of our superintendents are truly remarkable, exceptional models for the state of North Carolina, and we are all committed individually and collectively as a region to ensuring that all kids receive a high quality education. I do want to thank you all for your service, for your leadership and support of our public schools. I say to my staff all the time that our children have one time in school, and it's up to us every single day to commit to doing all that we can to make a difference. Thank you all for serving our students and for making a difference across the state. I've had the chance to be the superintendent of Union County Public Schools for the last 7 years. I'm tremendously proud of our accomplishments and the work that we're doing. As you heard earlier, we are a very high-performing large district in North Carolina. And every single day, we have a promise for our families, which is to deliver a high-quality education for all kids in a safe environment. And delivering on that promise requires support and teamwork from our local Board of Education, from our administrators, our wonderful staff, and our families. But it also requires support and leadership from state leaders such as yourself and our members of our elected officials, as well as staff from the Department of Public Instruction. So I do want to take the opportunity as both superintendent and the chair of Region 6 to publicly say, thank you for supporting our schools. Thank you for the level of service and advocacy you provide, and a big thank you for the regional support system you have put into place. And on behalf of Region 6, I do want to recognize our Director of Regional Service, Ms. Heather Mullins, who is absolutely exceptional and a phenomenal advocate for Region 6. That level of state support and that system and under her leadership is really a great example and a model of how a state agency can truly support continuous improvement of a school system in a region. So thank you again for the opportunity and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Houlihan. We look forward to hearing more from you and your colleagues, Dr. Erin Allen, Lincoln County Schools, Dr. John Stover of Rockingham County Schools, and Dr. John Kapika of Cabarrus County Schools later in this meeting. We have one housekeeping item, and that is to approve our agenda. So colleagues, note that you have seen the agenda for this May 2nd and 3rd, 2023 planning and work session and had the opportunity to review it. Are there any requests for changes? Hearing none, I ask for a motion to approve the May 2nd and 3rd, 2023 planning and work session agenda.
Treasurer Falwell makes that motion.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Blackburn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Chemnitz. Any discussion? Dr. Petrie Martin.
Dr. Oxendine, Mrs. Chemnitz, Mr. Keenan, Mr. Hull, Dr. Tipton Rogers.
Yes.
Mrs. White, Mr. Blackburn, Dr. Ford,
Yes.
Treasurer Falwell, Vice Chair Duncan,
Yes.
Chair Davis.
Yes.
We do have two individuals who are online. Chair Davis.
We'll give them another chance.
Okay. Treasurer Falwell,
Yes.
Dr. Tipton Rogers.
Yes.
Then the motion carries. All right, terrific, because that was what was standing in the way of us having lunch.
Yes.
So let's break for lunch and we will return at 1 o'clock. We'll return at 1 o'clock.